Welcome, St. Matthew and friends. Thank you for joining me for this video and for participating in the study of Max Lucado's Anxious for Nothing. So if you're new to this or new to St. Matthew, my name is Amy Donaldson. I am the Minister of Adult Faith Formation at St. Matthew Lutheran Church in Beaverton. And this video that you're watching right now is a response to session 2, Let Your Gentleness Be Evident to All. So if you haven't watched Max Lucado's video yet for session 2, I would encourage you to go to St. Matthew's website and to follow the links there to that video and to other lessons and resources that are available there. So that's smlcfamily.org. So my purpose here is to add a few of my own comments and highlight a few ideas for you to wrap up the study of session 2. So Max starts the video with the story of Elliot. And he's a man who's had a bad day and he hasn't handled it very well. He responded with impatience and he even took it out on other people. Have you ever been that guy? Have you ever had that bad day that you didn't handle with patience or grace, and maybe you even lashed out at other people? Well, if you haven't, you've probably at least been on the receiving end of that, when someone else has had a bad day and has taken it out on you. Well, I have to admit, I have been that guy. Hopefully not too often, but I do know of times in my life when I've been in a kind of high anxiety, high stress season, and I've lashed out at other people out of that stress and anxiety. Now, we don't always have control over our first reaction to something, but we do have a choice over what we do next. Sometimes that requires an apology or reconciling with that person that we lashed out at. I've had to do that one before. Sometimes it means following up an irrational response with a more rational one. Now, I have to tell you, that's usually what happens whenever I see a spider. My first response is not a rational one. It's just a reaction. And it comes from kind of a long practiced fear response that I've always had. But then my next action is a more rational one, where I'm able to think through the situation and choose what to do next. Well, the same is true of any number of situations, where our first reaction may simply be instinctual, coming from a place of fear or anxiety. And we can't control that reaction. But then we have a chance to think about it, to think about how we should react, and to choose what our next action or our next statement will be. Now, Max makes a comment to this effect in this video, that we have a choice how to perceive stresses and how to respond to them. Maybe we don't react well at first, but we can choose to change our thinking, to reframe how we see the situation, and to change our behavior and make better choices. Now, I encourage you, especially during the season of heightened stress and fear, to think about how you're reacting, how you're responding to others, and how you're perceiving what's happening around you. Are there different choices that you need to make? Now, the theme for session 2 comes from Philippians 4, verse 5. Let your gentleness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. Now, both parts of this verse are important, and Max points out how they're related. So first is this idea of letting your gentleness be known to all. Max says that the gentleness that the Apostle Paul is talking about here is a sense of steadiness or level-headedness. It's the opposite of panic or overreaction. Max describes this as a contagious calm. Now, that phrase takes on a whole new meaning for us right now in a season of contagion. Do you know someone in your own life who is contagiously calm? Someone who brings with them a sense of calm and peace, and they help you put things in perspective and to remember that everything will be okay. I hope you do, and I hope that some of you may even be that person who is contagiously calm for other people. And that's really the ultimate desire that all of us should have, to have such a sense of inner peace, that we spread that to others just by our very words or presence. But Max points out that the next part of the verse is the foundation and source of this gentleness. The Lord is near. We have calm and steadiness because we recognize that God is here, just as he always has been and always will be. Our circumstances have changed, but God has not. Our future is uncertain on this earth, but our future in God's kingdom is secure. We don't have control over the world or what's happening today, but we do know the one who is in control, and we trust him to take care of our needs at this time. As an illustration of this, Max uses the story of the feeding of the 5,000. Now, this story is present in all four of the Gospels, but Max especially uses the version from John's Gospel, John chapter 6. And that version might kind of bring out the personalities of the disciples a little bit better. The point of the story is one that's particularly important for us right now, and it will be in the months to come. The disciples counted the loaves and fishes, they counted their money, and they took stock of the resources they had, and it wasn't enough. They counted the people in the crowd, and the need was too great. But they didn't seem to count on Jesus. Now, right now, probably all of us are experiencing some insecurity with our resources in one way or another. Maybe you have enough food for today, but you don't know the next time that you'll be able to get groceries. Maybe you have enough toilet paper for today, but you don't know if you'll be able to get any more before you need it. Now, probably none of us ever expected that we would be experiencing toilet paper insecurity at some point in our lives. But as much as I use this example a little tongue in cheek, it's actually a real thing, right? But I think this may also be a valuable lesson for us to learn. Most of us Americans are so comfortable always being able to get what we need when we need it or when we want it, that we don't know the discomfort of living day to day or even meal to meal. But that insecurity is a reality for many people in our community, and chances are it's only going to increase in the coming months. So if we learn that lesson of what it feels like to be a little uncomfortable or a little insecure, then we're learning what other people are going through, often on a daily basis around us. But the point of this story, and the point that Max makes here, is the point of the manna, the daily bread that we pray for every time we say the Lord's Prayer. Don't just look at the loaves and fishes and count up your resources. Don't just look at the crowd and count up the need. Look to Jesus and count on him. Now, Max says instead of starting with what we have, we should start with what Jesus has. And we should count the number of times that Jesus has helped us face the impossible. Now, I hope you have stories in your own life to look back on of how God has helped you or has provided you or gotten you through a situation where you didn't know how you were going to get through it. Look back on those times. Thank God for those times as part of your prayers now, and ask God to do the same for you again. Now, one final thought that I want to leave with you is from Max's video, and it's his statement that maybe part of the test that you're going through right now, that we're all going through right now, is an advanced course in patience. Now, there are a lot of things that God is teaching us right now. Some of us need to learn trust. Some of us may need to learn patience. Some of us need to learn to give things into God's hands and then not just take them back again. Whatever lesson that you need to learn, I encourage you to be open to what God is teaching you so that you can grow during this time of challenge. And maybe we can all become people of contagious calm. The Lord is near. Carry that promise with you in the coming week. And then come back and join us for session 3. Present your requests to God. Thank you.